Welcome to Off Topic Day. I'm coming live from Hillbilly Island. I just got home an hour ago. I'm eating a bag of Cheez-Its, drinking a cup of coffee. I'm trying to keep myself busy this weekend so I don't have to, be bored all weekend. Today at school, I don't know. It was long, kind of like a long day of work. I was listening to the Stone Cold podcast, and he was telling the story about whenever he woke up and one of his dogs took off his flip-flop, and he was sitting there making some oatmeal and some egg whites or scrambled eggs, and then realized his wife scheduled him a doctor's appointment. Man, let me tell you, he's good at telling stories, and the way he puts his words in is just so funny. It's hysterical. I laughed so hard at it. What's funny about it is that, it's been 2.5 years since he went to the dentist, and I honestly thought, I figured he would have went to the dentist more than once, but, I guess not. I don't know. Not to make fun of you, or Stone Cold, but, yeah, but, I can agree with him on him being good on his hygiene and, healthy. Anyways, but right now I'm doing good. I'm sorry it took this long to do a part 2. This is actually my second time doing the podcast because I messed up on the first one. I came up with an idea for a book, and it's gonna be lit. I can't tell y'all what it's about, but for copyright reasons, but I will give y'all the name of it. It's called The Blackout Maze, and I'll just give you a hint of what it's gonna be like. So there's going to be basically, I'll just give you a small summary of what it's about. Basically, it's a detective that goes into a maze with his partner, alright? And they fall through a trapdoor, break both of their ankles, and they're kidnapped by clown butchers, alright? And that's all I'm going to say. But the whole book is going to be about the maze and the clown butchers. There's going to be tons of gore, cannibalism, torture methods from the 1800s. There's going to be slaughtering. There's going to be whole tons of horror stuff you would expect in a horror book. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take me to write it, because the way I'm going to write it is chapter by chapter. So the first chapter I'm going to write, it's 3 chapters by 3 chapters. So 1, 2, 3 chapters, and then 3, 4, and 5 chapters, and then 6, 7, 8 chapters, and then 2 more chapters after that. And then I'm going to combine all of it into one book. And that's how it's going to work. But I've been planning out what I want my book to be about, and when my parents get home, I'm going to tell them or ask them what they think about it, because, there's tons of copyright laws, and the thing is that when I write this book, I don't want to copy, something from Texas Chainsaw, because that deals with Ed Gein, and he was a cannibal. It's based off Ed Gein and Ted Bundy and what's the other one? Psycho. I can't remember his name, but it's based off of those two. I just want to come up with my own fresh story. I just don't want to get sued because, they think I copyrighted them. And that's the thing about this book, is that I don't want to get sued. I don't want to come up with something, John Kramer would come up with, the guy from Saw. I don't want to come up with something like that. I just want to come up with my own torture methods. But, I can actually use torture methods from the 1800s, because, they didn't have movies back then in the day, in 1800s. They didn't have, anything. No movies, no nothing. So I'm probably just going to use those. I need to get those written down so I can put them in my book. But I'm excited for the book. And then there's a second book I'm writing. And it's about a man who goes on a mission or a business trip. He's wealthy, has 2 kids. His wife died in a car crash. And he goes into this haunted hotel and makes the mistake of going into the room that someone was murdered in. And the spirit follows him all the way from Pennsylvania all the way to California. It follows him. And it haunts him. And it takes him, it messes with his mind. It plays mind games on him. Makes him see things. It's kind of like The Hitchhiker, a little bit. But, because The Hitchhiker, it deals with a girl seeing a man on the side of the road saying, you're going my way. Well, The Hitchhiker, she died in Pennsylvania. She flipped a car over and died. And I read this book in 8th grade. It was Hitchhiker, the actual book. And the creator that made this, or wrote this, made War of the Worlds. And Steven Spielberg actually directed a live film of War of the Worlds, which I love. I love that film. That's the thing about it. You know, I just want to come up with something, you know, more creepy than what Stephen King or Wes Craven or I don't know, a director, a writer would come up with. Something more freaky than that. And anyways, but the spirit follows them all the way from New York to California, and it haunts them, and it takes them back into the past and alters it. So basically what it is, say for instance, I don't know, let's make a scenario. I don't know, say Billy, all right? Say Billy, all right, is driving down the road and the spirit taunting them, and it takes him back in time, and it takes him to the time when he killed his brother with a rock because he broke something of his or whatever. You know, it's just a scenario. It's not real. But it takes him back to that time, and it shows him what he did and whatever. And not only does it mess with him, but it also messes with his fears. And the character, his fear is... I wrote down a list of fears that he has. He has a fear of drowning, fear of spiders, fear of snakes, fear of clowns, and a fear of death. He's afraid of dying. There's more I wrote down, but I don't remember because it was so long ago. I had it on my old tablet, and the school took it, and it's erased. So I don't know what happened to it. But the whole point of it is for me to write it so I can at least accomplish something. Something to keep me busy, not thinking about the outside world, such as politics, you know, military-wise, or I don't know. Wrestling, keep me mind off of that. TV, North Korea, just keep it. It's basically just to keep my mind off of it, because literally, thinking about all of those, it stresses me out because I hate politics. Honestly, I do. I hate its guts because whenever I hear someone's opinion, I always just want to punch them, or I just want to just gripe them out for making that stupid opinion, and I hate it. If it comes to the point to where I have to lock myself in my room and finish this book, I will do it. I'm a sophomore in high school. It's probably going to take me more than 2 years to get this book done. Both of my books done. And it never hurts to put in the book, or on the back, the inspiration I got for this book was from so and so. It never hurts to do that, because you're basically just giving the creator or the director or the writer credit for their work. So basically what I'm saying is, I got the inspiration for I don't know, say for example, I got the inspiration for UFO 100 based off of Men in Black. That's basically just giving the directors and writers credit. And the thing is that I'm gonna have trouble coming up with good plot lines and plot twists. And my friend Caleb suggested to me that once I get the book written, copyright all of it, copyright it, like more than one time, so that way no one can steal my idea. Because if I post it online, someone's gonna steal my idea, and they'll make millions before I do. But tomorrow or Sunday there will be a part 3. It just depends if I'm not busy or my parents aren't home, because I do when my parents aren't home. I can concentrate better that way. It's just a way of thinking. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. Okay. So I think it was when was it? I don't remember when it was. All right. I think it was a couple weeks before Christmas, I think. Yeah, I think it was a day, or it was, I don't know, I could be wrong. But anyways, I went with my dad and my grandpa, because my grandpa gave my dad 2 tool boxes of his, and he got a new toolbox. Yeah, so we got to the house and we unlocked the door. Dogs are barking crazy and everything, and we got the toolbox in, and I was struggling to push the toolbox inside the house. And I got back in the car, I put in my earbuds, and then my grandpa asked me a question. And I think he said, "Do you work out?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "Well, you probably should, because it looked like a toolbox was about to whoop your butt." I laughed so hard at that. He's good at telling jokes, and he's a good practical joker. My dad was telling me a time whenever because my dad played guitar when he was about my brother's age. He would go into his room when he had to wake up for school and play his guitar, or he'd run around the house with a frying pan and light a piece of paper on fire and say, "Fire, fire, everyone get up." Or he would tell my great-grandma there's something wrong with my grandma, and yeah, there would be breakfast on the table. It was just funny. My dad actually pulled a similar trick, because I don't think they had fire alarms back in the day. But it was like around 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. I was asleep, and I heard my dad talking. I don't know what he was talking about, but he was turning on the heater for the first time because it was starting to get cold. He turned it on, and the fire alarms went off. I jumped out of bed. I jumped out of my bed, said, "Bye, Diamond." That's my dog, Diamond. I said, "Bye, Diamond," and I took off, and then I was like, "What's on fire?" And he's like, "Nothing. I just set off the fire alarm when I turned on the heater." And I was like, "Really?" And it was like 6 o'clock, and I was like, "I'm going back to sleep." And I did, and I woke up at 6:50. I got like 30 minutes of sleep, which is good. But he's good at playing practical jokes. I'm excited for the Raw 25th anniversary. Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, DX, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, X-Pac, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Rikishi. I think Rikishi's going to be there. The Undertaker, he's going to be there. And there's going to be a huge title match on the Raw 25th anniversary, and I'm excited for it. January 2nd. But whenever summer hits, I'll probably be doing 1 week 1 week wrestling podcast and then 1 week off topic week. And this is just an idea I had, but I think that will work a lot better. I'll probably likely have more guests on my podcast because, well, I mean, my brother has tons of friends, and I don't know, I have one friend that lives right around the corner from me, and I have him on the podcast all the time. There was a blooper that we had on the podcast one time, if y'all guys remember it. It was Thanksgiving, alright? It was, I think it was the day before Thanksgiving, and he had to leave in an hour, alright? And I was like, alright, well, let's do a podcast first before you leave. And he's like, alright. And this is Grayson I'm talking about, if y'all guys don't know. I'm making him a cup of coffee, and he likes his coffee, like, sweet, and creamer, and sugar, and everything, whatever. And I drink my coffee black, and, you know, I get the question time, how do you drink that stuff? It tastes like burnt crap. And I was like, you know what? I couldn't tell you. I'll drink the first cup black, but second cup black, but the third cup I'll drink it with creamer and sugar, because if I have black coffee for 4 days straight, I will get tired of it and I will not drink coffee, and that will just make me feel miserable because I can't function without coffee. But anyways, I poured him a cup of coffee, and I poured sugar in there, and I forgot to stir it, and he took a sip out of it, and he did like a funny noise, and the podcast was going. And luckily my brother Cody was around, because he was in the kitchen. We were doing the podcast, and he got Grayson a spoon, and he started stirring it. So that gave him like a better, you know, taste in his mouth instead of just having black coffee. I started using the cutting torch in ag. I loved it. You always don't know what a cutting torch is. It's basically oxygen and acetylene. So you have to turn on the acetylene, and then once you light it, you gotta mix in the oxygen, and then when it turns like light blue, that's when you can start cutting with it. Well, Mr. Cleveland, my teacher, he was showing me how to cut in line, or a gouge, or I think it's a gouge, or how to cut off a piece, you know, of metal. Well, sparks flew at me, and I jumped, and I was extra jumpy that morning. I don't know why. I was extra jumpy. I watched horror movies that one weekend, and I was just extra jumpy. And even like a single pop would scare the crap out of me. And I got the hang of it. The only thing I don't like is that the gloves are too big for my fingers, and I can't upgrade, or not upgrade, but like adjust the knobs. And that's the only thing I don't like. But I like the experience. I am going to have to wear my hair back, or, you know, wear something to protect my hair, because a spark flew at me and I thought I was going to catch my hair on fire. I might just put my hair back, or slick it back, or get a haircut. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But it was a good experience. I'd never done it before. I learned a little bit of welding with my uncle in Oklahoma. He has a welding machine up there. They were building up their house. They were building up their house, and they welded this one part on there, and my aunt was inside, and he was out there welding. And I just came out, because the way they have it set up, or the way he had it, was the beam was slanted. Or no, it wasn't slanted, but it was straight up, all right? It was straight up, and he had clamps on it. And he told me, like, before I came out that the beams without clamps are hot. Don't touch them. Well, my stupid self thought, oh, I'm gonna climb on it and see if it's sturdy enough. Well, I put my hand up there. I burned the crap out of my hand. Man, I was in pain. That burned. I burned like a mofo. It hurt. I want to get a car soon. I'm going to be getting the license soon. I'm 16. If I do get a car, I want to do this with my buddy one day. I either want to go with my friend Brad or Grayson. I can take both of them. But I want to go to a junkyard and I want to find this awesome muscle car. All right? I want to find an awesome muscle car. And I want to put some money into it and restore it. And that'll be the car that I'm going to drive. And then once I get done with muscle cars, I'll sell it and buy something else. I've always wanted to drive either a Chevy Impala or a Corvette. There was this video I watched, and this grandpa was driving a Dodge Charger versus a Corvette. Oh my god, that old man whipped the guy's butt. He took off like his butt was on fire. I'm trying to remember what happened. Yeah, so the other day I woke up and my brother was at his friend's house. And I forgot to put my phone on the charger because I fell asleep and I forgot what I was doing, but it was before I got my bed. My bed's huge. It was before I got a new bed, and I had my nightstand, I had my poster behind me, and my dog, she lays like either beside me, like right by my head, or she'll lay by my feet. And like if I'm not careful, if I roll over, I'll accidentally kick her out the bed, and then I'll be afraid of hurting her. But on accident. But I woke up one morning and I rolled over. My whole entire nightstand goes falls over, knocks over my jar of coins, of pocket change, my lamp, my cup of water, which I spilled on my phone. I was so mad. It was just minor damage. It didn't damage anything, honestly. But it did freak me out because I spilled it on my phone. I don't know what phone I had at the time. I think it was an Alcatel One Touch or whatever. But I got mad at it. And I came out in the living room. And I was tired. When I'm tired, I don't pay attention to what I'm doing. And this was way before I got the dog gate right in front of the hallway. It was way before that. Well, I'm walking and I'm rubbing my eyes so I can clear up my vision. And my cat is laying right in front of the walkway, all right? And we didn't have a square table at the time. We had like a round table. I tripped over my cat Cookie. And let me just tell you, I don't know why he likes to lay in the middle of the floor. I tripped over him and hit my head on the table. Oh my god, that really hurt. It was just painful. And then I got mad at Cookie, and then I was like, I shouldn't get mad at him because, it's my fault because I wasn't paying attention. And then, that day right there was just bad luck for me because, like, when I woke up, because I was sitting there thinking, because I tripped over my cat Cookie, and I was like, you know what, maybe this day will be better once I have coffee. No, there was no coffee. And we were out of coffee that day. I was so mad, and I had to go down to my friend's mom's house to get coffee, or instant coffee. And then that exact day, my headphones went out. One of my earphones went out. And, that was just crap. And I had an Xbox at the time, and my game froze on me. It's like that day was just bad luck. And I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. Well, we had... what was it? It was pizza, or no, it wasn't pizza. It was mac and cheese, and it was sitting in there for 1 day or 2 days, 1 to 2 days, and there was already mold on it. And I was like, really? And that was the only thing I could eat. I was like, you know what? I'll just starve till dinner time. My night was all right after that, and then I went to sleep. But I really want to either get a stick shift truck or a manual, or a standard and a manual. I want to have both of those cars. Hold on one sec. My burt's burning. My throat is burning. Ate a jalapeno. Almost choked on that. Anyways, I like some of the older style Chevys, because I noticed that, well, my friend's cousin that live in they live about, I don't know, 45 minutes away from, or no, 53, or I don't know, a little less than that away from me, because they moved. He was telling me that he likes the square body better, because some of the older bodies, like the square body trucks, if you try to punch that, you won't even know it. If you punch one made out of fiberglass, they'll leave a dent. I was like, yeah, you got a point there. And I also like the idea of having an older car, because they're easy to maintain, and the oil filter is in the front, the fuel pump is in the front, and it's either manual or standard. And I honestly I'm like a car addict whenever I'm online, because I'll be looking online and I'll find like a really cool carburetor filter. But there's this mechanic I've been watching. You should go check this guy out. His name is Scotty Kilmer. I'm not going to tell you where he lives, but he lives in Texas. Or I'm not going to tell you what part he lives in Texas, but he lives in Texas. He gives you like DIY, do-it-yourself tips on how to keep your car running. I'm subscribed to his channel. I watch his channel every day. I learn a lot from his channels. He's a very nice dude. He's worked about the same time, or about the same amount of years that my grandpa was working on cars, 50 years. He did a car on, he did a video a couple years ago. It was when he was working on cars for 45 years. I can't remember what video it was. Or it was how to get a car starting that's been sitting for 15 years. And it was a Corvette. And he gave us a tip like check the battery, or no, change the battery, drain the fuel, because that's like kerosene. Drain the fuel, drain all the fluid, put new fluid, change the oil filter, change all the filters, and then, I don't know, change the starter. Do all kinds of stuff. Change the carburetor, change the filter on the carburetor, put a little starter fluid in that, and, that'd be good. Yeah, but he's a good mechanic. I really like watching his channel. I learned a lot of stuff. When I start driving soon, I'll be watching a lot of his videos, so I know what to do. And I want to take it to my grandpa. Well, not my grandpa, but a mechanic, and pay a fortune to get my car fixed, which I don't have a car. But that is it. For Off Topic Date, I'm either going to start again tomorrow or Sunday. If not, then next Friday. Peace.